Imagine waking up to find out that you're a millionaire. How would you react? Now let's delve into a world sketched by the masterful strokes of Anton Chekhov in his short story, The Beggar. Picture a small town, as quaint as they come, where everyone knows everyone, and life has a predictable rhythm. In this town, there's a man who stands out, not because of his wealth or power, but because of his lack thereof. This man is a beggar, a fixture as familiar as the town square or the old church steeple. Our protagonist is not a hero, at least not in the conventional sense. He doesn't slay dragons or rescue damsels in distress. Instead, he spends his days asking for alms, his life a testament to hardship and survival. The townsfolk, for the most part, regard him with a mixture of pity and resignation. They give him coins, old clothes, sometimes even a warm meal. But as often is the case in literature, a twist of fate awaits our beggar. One day, he wakes up to the news that he has inherited a fortune. Just like that, his life of want and hardship is replaced by abundance and comfort. It's an unexpected turn of events that would leave anyone reeling. Now imagine this. One day you're a beggar, and the next you're a millionaire. It's a dramatic shift that would undoubtedly stir up a whirlwind of emotions. And that's exactly what happens to our protagonist. But how does this sudden wealth affect him? Does he use it to better his life and those around him? Or does it lead him down a different path? And what happens when the townsfolk who once pitied him see him basking in his newfound wealth? Would you believe that a beggar's life could change overnight? Hold on to that thought as we dive deeper into the story. Scene script. Have you ever seen a caterpillar turn into a butterfly? Now imagine a beggar morphing into a millionaire. The tale of our beggar takes a dramatic turn as he unexpectedly inherits a fortune. No longer a beggar, he becomes a man of wealth, his pockets swollen with the weight of gold. As his rags transform into finery, so does his demeanor undergo a startling metamorphosis. Where once he was humble and grateful for every morsel, he now struts with a haughty arrogance, looking down upon those who used to be his equals. The beggar, who once pleaded for compassion, now dismisses it with a wave of his hand. A cruel sneer replaces the gratitude that used to warm his face. The townspeople watch in disbelief as the man they once pitied becomes a reflection of disdain. As his wealth grows, so does his ego. He develops a taste for the finer things in life, no longer content with mere survival. His days are filled with lavish feasts and extravagant parties, his nights with dreams of gold. His heart hardens, his compassion withers, replaced by avarice and contempt. But what is it about wealth that can twist a man's character so? Is it the power that money brings, or is it the fear of losing it all? Perhaps it's the intoxicating allure of luxury, the seductive whisper of privilege, or maybe, just maybe, wealth doesn't change a person, but merely reveals their true colors. The beggar turned millionaire becomes a living testament to this idea. He, who once depended on the kindness of others, now scoffs at the very notion of charity. His transformation is a chilling reminder of how money, in all its glittering glory, can cast long dark shadows on one's soul. Can wealth truly change a person's character, or does it merely amplify what was always there? As we delve deeper into the beggar's tale, we are left to ponder this question. The transformation of our beggar from a humble man to an arrogant millionaire serves as a stark reminder of the power and potential peril of fortune. How would you react if the person you once pitied for their poverty turned out to be wealthier than you? This question rang in the minds of the townsfolk when they saw the beggar, a man they once sympathized with, suddenly transformed into a wealthy aristocrat. The shock and disbelief were palpable. Each person reacted differently, but the general sentiment was the same. They felt betrayed. The townsfolk were disheartened to see the beggar's demeanor change. His humility replaced with arrogance, his gratitude with cruelty. The man they had once helped was now dismissing them, as if they were insignificant. The townsfolk felt a deep sense of disappointment. They had extended a helping hand when he was in need, but now he seemed to have forgotten all about it. The change was so drastic that some couldn't believe it was the same man. They remembered him as a humble figure, always grateful for the smallest acts of kindness. Now he was a stranger, aloof and unrecognizable. The townsfolk found it hard to reconcile the man they knew with the one standing in front of them, adorned in riches and exuding arrogance. Their disappointment soon turned into anger. They confronted him, questioning his change in behavior, but the beggar, now a wealthy man, dismissed them. He turned his back on the people who had once been his lifeline. This dismissal only fueled the townsfolk's anger. They felt betrayed and used. The man they had once pitied was now treating them with contempt. But amidst all the anger and disappointment, there was also a sense of sadness. The townsfolk had lost a friend. The beggar they knew was gone, replaced by a stranger they didn't recognize. They mourned the loss of the humble man they once knew, who had been replaced by this new, arrogant figure. What would you do if someone you helped in their time of need turned their back on you? This question now haunted the townsfolk as they grappled with the beggar's transformation. The story of the beggar was a bitter reminder of the fickle nature of fortune and how it can drastically alter a person's character. What goes up must come down, but what if that descent is faster than the ascent? So was the case with our beggar, who for a brief moment tasted the sweet nectar of wealth, only to have it cruelly snatched away. In the blink of an eye, his world, glittering with gold and silver, was reduced to tatters and rags. His once overflowing coffers were now as empty as the streets he had once roamed, begging for alms. The grand mansion that once stood as a testament to his sudden fortune was now deserted, its doors and windows shut tight, a stark reminder of his fleeting affluence. But what was more heart-wrenching was the beggar's return to the streets, the very place he had once escaped from. The irony was bitter and cold, much like the winter winds that now whipped against his worn-out coat. He was back where he started, but this time with the added burden of knowing what he had lost. This sudden reversal of fortune paints a vivid picture of life's unpredictability. It's a stark reminder that life, much like the wheel of fortune, is constantly in motion. One moment you're at the top, basking in the glory of your triumphs, and the next you're at the bottom, grappling with the harsh realities of existence. But it's not just about the beggar's fall from grace, it's about his transformation too. The money that was supposed to liberate him ended up chaining him. It made him arrogant, unkind, and dismissive. It distorted his perception of himself and the world around him, ultimately leading to his downfall. The beggar's story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the transient nature of wealth and power. It underscores the importance of humility, compassion, and kindness, qualities that are often lost in the pursuit of material wealth. If you lost everything today, where would you find yourself tomorrow? This poignant question not only encapsulates the beggar's predicament, but also urges us to reflect on our own lives. Because in the grand scheme of things, we are all beggars, aren't we? Just a step away from a fall or a rise, depending on which way the wheel of fortune turns. Every tale has a lesson, but what can we learn from a beggar who became a millionaire and then a beggar again? Let's dive in. In Anton Chekhov's short story, The Beggar, we meet a man who is familiar with the harsh realities of poverty. His life takes a dramatic turn when he unexpectedly inherits a fortune. The sudden inflow of wealth, however, doesn't bring him happiness or peace. Instead, it transforms him into an arrogant and cruel individual, alienating him from the very townspeople who once showed him kindness. The story's main theme centers around the fleeting nature of fortune and its potential to alter one's character. The beggar, once a humble and pitiable figure, becomes a symbol of arrogance and cruelty upon acquiring wealth. His transformation underscores the idea that material wealth can sometimes bring out the worst in people, leading them to lose their sense of empathy and humanity. This tale serves as a stark reminder of the fickleness of fortune, a concept as old as storytelling itself. One moment, the beggar is at the bottom, the next, he's at the top, only to fall back to where he started. It's a roller coaster ride, illustrating that fortune can be as unpredictable as it is unreliable. But perhaps the most potent lesson from this story lies in the realm of character transformation. The beggar's character shift, from humble to haughty, serves as a cautionary tale about the potential pitfalls of sudden wealth. It warns us that money, while useful, can sometimes blind us to our own faults and lead us down a path of self-destruction. In essence, Chekhov's The Beggar teaches us about the transient nature of material wealth and the enduring value of genuine character. It reminds us that fortune can come and go, but who we are at our core remains constant. In the end, it's not about how much we have, but who we are that defines us. Remember, fortune is fickle, but character endures.